It's time to pet your familiar, tie up your hair, and get ready to cook, because today we are making the honey spice cake from The Witcher.
So this recipe specifically comes from an in-game recipe, not an in-game food, and it specifically comes from the Blood and Wine DLC. It's actually one of a few recipes that comes from a Gordon Ramsay type author, and the name of the chef is an Easter egg towards Gordon Ramsay. Now there isn't actually anything wrong with this recipe, but it does call for 3 cups of buckwheat honey and spelt flour, and buckwheat honey just has a very strong, almost bitter flavor, so I'm going to be subbing that out for a wildflower honey, which is a little bit more palatable. Spelt flour is very similar to all-purpose flour, but it does have an almost nuttier flavor. There's nothing wrong with either, but I'm going to sub them out just to make it more palatable. Let's get baking.
For starters, with this recipe, please make sure to get a nice honey for it, or at least some sort of wildflower honey, since a lot of that flavor will end up being in the final product. In my case, I'm going to use both of these honeys, and since they're a little crystallized, we just need to heat up some water, place them in a heat-proof bowl, and pour in the water around them to get them ready for measuring. I'm also going to be sharing a little trick for measuring the honey in a bit. Since we have some extra hot water, I'm just going to use some of this to pour myself a tea while I bake. This step is optional but recommended. To begin, grab a large bowl and combine 2 cups of all-purpose or spelt flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a ½ teaspoon of salt, our Zerrikanian spices, a ½ teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground clove, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and optionally 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. Set that aside, and in a separate bowl combine 2 large eggs, 1 cup of vegetable oil, and with that same measuring cup as the oil, you can then add in your 1 cup of honey of choice, and look at that, not a drop left behind. Also add in 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of full-fat Greek yogurt, and optionally but highly recommended is 1 teaspoon of orange zest. Now for a tip on zesting, get a firm grip on your citrus and zester and hold the zester essentially upside down, starting at the tip of the orange and in one motion go down to the bottom of the orange. This makes your zesting efficient and all of your zest gets caught in the zester and not all over your cutting board or work surface. Also notice how I'm not really getting any of the pith or the white part in here, since that part contains a lot of the bitterness but not much flavor. We then just need to mix together all of the wet ingredients until well combined. Then, grab your dry ingredients, make a little well, and add in your wet ingredients, mixing well with a spatula. Try to make sure there aren't any dry spots remaining, but lumps are fine and normal. Then, grease up your pan of choice. In my case, I went with this bundt pan, and pour it all in. No worries about smoothing down the top since it's a runny batter. We just need to bake this at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. I always recommend letting things like this cool on a wire rack for a bit inside the pan before trying to take them out. We then just need to worry about serving this. Now, obviously, since the final product doesn't appear in-game, we only have guesses as to how it would be served, but considering the ingredients, I don't doubt that it would be some sort of not-too-sweet pastry rather than a full sugary dessert that we would make in our world in our age. I'm going to top this with some honey, and if you want your whole home to smell like Zerrikanian spices just in time for fall, I recommend this recipe. And feel as though Geralt would be ordering this to Coro Bianco whenever he needed a sweet treat during retirement. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to see more, and I'm looking forward to tackling some more food from fantasy. See you next time.